Hello everyone, welcome to lesson number 3. I am actually designing this lesson because as I analyzed a few papers, I noticed that a lot of students are doing a good work, but some students still have difficulties identifying a topic or a theme in a short story. That's why I am creating this lesson in order to help you create a topic and find details in the story that can support that particular topic. So as I read the story, Dead Man's Path, I kept thinking, what would be a good topic for my paper? And I decided to choose a very simple topic in order to help you comprehend how to create a topic, okay? So my topic is conflict. And the reason why I chose conflict is because as I read the story, I saw lots of lines related to conflict. On page 367, if you read the story, you can see that at some point it talks about unprogressive school. Why did I choose that line, unprogressive school? Because unprogressive is the opposite of progress. So if Mr. Obi is going to deal with unprogressive school, that means that he has a conflict on his way. He has a problem to solve. Okay? So as I choose that line, I am also thinking about how to argue and explain how unprogressive school can create a conflict, or how unprogressive school is a sign of a conflict. Okay, so you have to explain it. All right, there are like a number of lines that could potentially be lines to support the topic conflict. The other line could be set him apart from the other headmasters in the mission field. I'm still on page 367. So when you set somebody apart from the other ones, that is actually going to create a sort of envy, a sort of problem between them. You know, the other headmasters could potentially be jealous of Obi because he has been chosen to become a headmaster. So you could also use this line to show that there is a conflict in this story, okay? And then on page 367, it says, he was outspoken in his condemnation of the narrow views of these older and often less educated ones. If he's an outspoken person, he's definitely going to create conflicts, okay? He's going to create conflicts. And then we have people with narrow views. The older people have narrow views. We can clearly see that there is going to be an attraction between Obi's views and the older people's views. And that's going to result in a conflict, okay? And then as you move down on page 367, it says, in their 2 years of married life, she had become completely infected by his passion for modern methods. And the most important is, and his denigration of these old and superannuated people in the teaching field. this is clearly another sign of conflict, okay? Because these old people, superannuated people in the teaching field, who would be better employed as traders in the Onitsha market. So the fact that he's infected with denigration of these old people, this is another sign, another expression that could be used, as element to support the topic conflict. There are other aspects. The wives of the other teachers would envy her position. Conflict. So if the wives in the school would envy the position of Obi's wife, it's going to create conflict, okay? There is another line. But he sometimes surprised people with sudden bursts of physical energy. Another sign of conflict. As you move down, the conflict becomes even more and more intense. So now I'm on page 368, of course. He was scandalized to see an old woman from the village hobble right across the compound. If he's scandalized, he's having an internal conflict. Internal conflict. Of course, he's going to face those folks and then deal with them, and then at some point on page 368, it says, "It amazes me," said Obi to one of his teachers who had been 3 years in the school, "that you people allow the villagers to make use of this footpath." So he doesn't want the villagers to use the footpath. So that's going to cause conflict, of course. All right? So, and then we go on, and then, I don't want to make this video too long, but on page 369, the conflict becomes more intense because Obi will have to face an old man, all right, the priest. So he would have to face the priest, and then there is a lot of argument between them, all right? I'm just going to read some of these expressions. And what has that got to do with the school? So they are arguing right now, okay? And then the other one said, "I don't know." And then they kept arguing with each other. He carried out a walking stick, which he usually tapped on the floor by way of emphasis. Each time he made a new point of his argument. They are arguing. There is conflict over here, okay? And then it goes on as we move on, we'll see. We cannot allow people to make a highway of our school compound. There is conflict, okay? So if we keep moving on, and then at some point it says, he said finally, is to eradicate just such beliefs as that. He wants to eradicate those beliefs from the school, all right? So, and then the older man says, but we follow the practices of our fathers. Okay, so I hope this helps you a little bit as you do analysis of the other story that we are going to read. Our next story is going to be Alice Walker, okay? And I hope you guys do a good job. Thank you.